Welcome to this tower defense series, where I'll show you how to make a tower defense game. So in this first episode I'll show you how to add these towers you can place, and you can place them on the road. Something like this, and this. And then later on we will make enemy waves, we will make tower upgrades, we'll make audio, visual effects, speed ups, and more levels and difficulties. So let's get started with this course. So right now all I've done is opened up the Unity hub, and I'll click on new project. Then I'll choose Universal 2D because it's going to be a 2D game. And then make sure your version is at least 6000, so Unity 6. And that's all we need. And let's also give our project a name. I will just call it Tower Defense. And I'll uncheck Connect to Unity Cloud. And let's now click on Create Project. Now our project is open, and what we'll start off by doing is selecting these and dragging them into settings so it's all more clean. Then I'll click on scenes right here, and I'll right click on the sample scene and rename it to game scene. So now our scene up here is named game scene instead. Now we need some art for the game, so I have this GitHub repository, and in this GitHub repository I'm using some stuff from this asset on the Unity asset store. So a big shout out to this guy. But what we'll do is click right here on code and then click on download zip. Then I'll right click on it and go to unpack all and choose unpack. Now I have it right here, so I'll just open that. And then I'll take this sprite one and drag it into assets over here like that. So now we have them inside of our project. Now we'll actually add the tile map. So I'll right click over here and I'll go to 2D and choose tile map and choose isometric because it's an isometric tile map like this. Now I'll click up here on grid and set the cell size to be 2.4, and this one will be 1.39, which is all because of our sprite sizes of the tiles. Then you'll have to locate this tile palette, so I'll just show you how, so if you don't have it, so I'll just close it down. So what we'll do is go to window, then go to 2D and choose tile palette, have it right here. I'll just drag it over here and dock it right there. Then I'll click on create new tile palette and click this one. I will call it isometric palette, and I'll set the grid to be isometric and the cell size again to be 2.4 and 3.39. Then click create, and we need to save it somewhere, so I'll just save it out here. So click on choose folder, so now we have it right there. Now we need to drag our tiles in here, so I'll open up the sprites and then the tiles, so we have them right here. I'll just select all of them with shift and then drag them into here, and again I'll just click choose folder, so it chooses the same folder as this one. And now as you can see over here, we have all of our tiles, but we have a problem. You can see they're floating a bit above, like the actual grid. So click on this one and then click on the first one. This takes you over here. And what I'll basically do is set the offset to be a -0.5. And if you now go back, you can see it's actually aligned with the grid. I'll just do this with all of them. So I'll just click through them all. And perfect, now they're all down here on the actual grid. What I'll now do is begin drawing the actual map. So to do that, I'll choose this tool right here. Then I'll, for example, start clicking with this one and I'll just draw a few. And then I'll maybe make a turn and add like one more like that. And then let's go this way. Like that. So now we have a path for our enemies to go through. And this is all painted on our first tile map right here, just called tile map. But let's actually rename this in here in the inspector to be called non-placeable, because we won't be able to place towers on the actual road. But what we can now do is copy this one, and we'll call this one for placeable tile map instead, because we're going to be able to place on this one. But right now we've copied this, so there's also ground on the placeable one. So if we just hide the first one, the non-placeable one, you can see there's still ground. So what we'll do is click on tile palette right here, and we're on the placeable tile map now. So we'll choose the eraser right here and just delete all of them like this. And now we can enable this one again in the inspector. Like that. So now we can click on the placeable tile map and go to tile palette, and let's choose the grass right here and just paint everywhere so that the camera is completely covered like this. Oops, I forgot something over here. So like that. So now the camera is covered. Now what we'll do is create a canvas. So I'll right click over here, go to UI and choose a canvas, because we're going to add some buttons to actually place the towers. This creates a canvas and an event system. So double click on the canvas, then click up here and choose dynamic clipping so we can see the actual canvas. And then what we'll do is right click and go to UI, and we'll create an image, which I'm going to call tower button. And this first one is going to be an archer. So if we just go back to sprites and go to towers, we have an archer and a wizard. And the barrack is empty, so I'll just delete that one. So we will need an archer and a wizard. So I'll go to the inspector right now. So I'll click right here to set set the anchor and I'll hold shift and click right here. Then I'll now set the position to be a -20 by 20. So this is how far it will be from this edge. Then I'll also set the color to be like a dark gray, something like this. And I will add a button component to this one because it's going to be a button later. Then I'll right click on it, go to UI and choose another image, which I'm going to call icon because we're going to add the icon here. So I'll first set the raycast target to false and I'll click right here and let's find the archer. So this is this one. But right now you can see it's stretched. So let's look down here on the image size, which is 130 by 166. So I'll do 130 by 166. And then I'll set the scale over here to 0.5 by 0.5. So now it's scaled properly. So if we go into the game view now, you can see it looks like this. Now I'll just copy this one. So we have another one for the wizard and I'll just rename it to wizard. And I'll set the position to -140. So it's over here. Perfect. I'll then click right here and click on the icon and click here so we can set it to the wizard, which is this one. But again, it's now stretched. So let's look, it's 150 by 126. So I'll do 150 by 126. But I think this is a bit too small. So I'll just upscale it to a 0.6 by 0.6 instead. And that looks a bit better. Perfect. What we'll now do is go to assets and right click out here and create a folder, which I'm gonna call scripts. In here we'll have all of our scripts. So let's create our first script. So I'll right click and go to create and do mono behavior script. And this script will be called tower selection UI. Now open that up. In here I'll delete the start and update function and then I'll add a public static game object called selected tower prefab. And because I made it static, it will be very easy to access from any other script. And this game object prefab will basically be the tower which you can spawn. Then I'll go down here where I'll do public void select tower, where we will have an input of a game object called tower prefab. Then I'll do if the tower prefab is equal to the selected prefab we already have. Well, then I'll just set selected tower prefab back to null and I will return. But else I will basically do selected tower prefab equals the tower prefab. So this will basically be when we press the UI buttons we just created. And if it's the same one, it will just deselect the selected prefab tower. So it goes back to null. Now let's head back into Unity. And I'll just double click on the main camera so we're over here again. And then what I'll do is go to assets and go to sprites and towers and open up the archer first. I'll just drag this archer tower in, so we have it here, and I'll rename it to archer. Then I'll go back to towers and choose the wizard and drag the wizard one in, so over here. And I'll call this one wizard. Now we have these two inside of our world. So what I'll do is go to assets and make them into prefabs. So I'll right click, create folder, call it prefabs. Open that up and just drag the archer in and the wizard in. And now we can delete them over here, like that. Now we want to work on a ghost tower script. So when we're hovering around after we've clicked the button, we should be able to see like a ghost preview of our tower before we actually place it. So I'll go to assets and scripts and I'll right click in here and create a new mono behavior script, which I'm gonna call ghost tower. Now open that up. In here I'll delete this update and start function and then I'll do sprite renderer SR. And I'll do an awake function where I'll do SR equals get component sprite renderer. So now we have the sprite renderer. And now we can do color C equals SR.color. And we can then do C.alpha equals 0.04. So we have an alpha value. And then we can do SR.color equals C. Like that. So now it's actually a ghost because it has a low alpha value. Then we can also do public void set valid. So some places our ghost object will be valid, where we can actually place it, and somewhere it won't be valid. For example, on the road. So here we will just basically have a bool called valid. And then we'll do sr.color equals valid question mark. So if valid is true, this is what's going to happen. Then it's going to be new color 0,1,0,0.4f. And this is if it is valid. This will just give us a normal color with an alpha value. And then we can do colon and we can do new color again. So this is if valid over here is false. Well, then it's going to be 1,0,0,0.4. And this gives us a faded red. Now let's head back into Unity and actually create the ghost prefab. So I'll right click up here and I'll create an empty game object called ghost tower. Then over here I'll add a sprite renderer. And let's just assign any of these in here. So I'll just assign the archer, for example. Then I'll set the sorting layer over here to a new. So I'll do add sorting layer. I'll click the plus icon and I'll call it ghost. Then I'll go back over here and choose ghost. Then I'll add the ghost tower and let's now make it a prefab. So go to prefabs and drag it down here. Now it looks pretty similar to the archer, but let's delete it up here. Then let's now create our tower placer script, which will be like the main script and the core script which keeps everything together. So I'll go to assets and go to scripts, and I'll right click in here and create a new monobehavior script. And this script is going to be called tower placer. Now let's open that up. And in here we'll delete the start function and the comments. And then I'll add a bunch of libraries because we're going to be using the Unity engine.tilemaps because we're going to be handling tile maps. Then I'll also be using the system.collections.generic because we'll be using a hash set which will be used to know which of our tiles are occupied with towers already. Then I'll also add a using Unity engine.event systems because we want to know when we're hovering over a button, but that's for later. So what we'll now do is add a public tile map called placement map and a public tile map called non-placeable map, which will be our road in this case. Then I'll have a public game object called ghost prefab, and then we'll have a private hash set which will be a vector3 int. So this one, because our tile map positions is a vector3 and it's an int of course because it's not decimal numbers. And we will call this occupied tiles, which I'll set to a new hash set of vector3 ints. Then I'll also do private game object ghost instance, like that. Then we're gonna need two functions. The first function will be called handle placement hover, and they will both just be voids. And the other one will be called handle placement click, like that. And that's the only two functions we're gonna need. And we're gonna call them from our update function. So first the hover one, and then the click one. So in the hover one, we're first gonna check if tower selection UI .selected prefab tower, and this is what's so smart because we made it a static. We can just use it like this, and we'll check if it's equal to null. And if it is, well then we're going to check if ghost instance is not equal to null, and if it's not, well then we will destroy the ghost instance and then we'll return. But under all of this, so if we actually have selected a tower prefab, well then we will just check if ghost instance is equal to null, and if it is, we're gonna spawn one. So we're gonna do ghost instance equals instantiate ghost prefab. So now we actually have a ghost, and now we can do ghost instance dot get component sprite renderer dot sprite equals, because we want to set the sprite of the ghost. We're gonna set that equal to tower selection UI dot selected tower prefab dot get component sprite renderer.sprite. Perfect. Now we can get the mouse position in the world and remove camera depth. So we'll do that by doing vector3 mouse world pos, which will be equal to camera.main.screen to world point, where we will input mouse position, like that. And then we'll just set the C position to 0. So we'll do mouse world pos.c equals 0. Then we now want to get the cell position of where we're like holding our mouse. And we'll do that by doing vector3 int, like that, cell pos equals placement map dot world to cell, and then we just need the position, which was mouse world position, like this. Now we want to get the true center of this cell position, so we will do vector3 world center equals placement map dot get cell center world, where we'll input our cell position, which was this one, like that. And then we will also set this world center dot c to be equal to 0. Now we can set the ghost's position, so we can do ghost instance .transform.position equals world center plus new vector3 0, placement map .cell size .y times 0.25. And this is because of our towers. We just want to move them a bit up with this. Then after this we can do bool valid equals placement map .hash tile, where we'll just check for the cell position, and we will also do not occupied tiles that contains our cell position. Then lastly we'll do ghost instance that get component ghost tower dot set valid, and we'll input our valid, which we just calculated right here. So this is to set the ghost to either red or to like a normal color. Now we just need this function down here for the placement, and here we'll first check if input.get mouse button down to 0. And one thing I just need to say right here is that you need to use the old input system for this to work. So let me just show you how to do that. Go to edit in here, go to project settings, go to player, go to other settings, and go to configuration where you have this one called active input handling, and set this to both or to the old input manager. We're not going to be using the new input system package because it's way too complicated for beginners. So just choose this one. It might reload your project. But let's get back in here, where I'll now do return if this is not true. Then I'll also check if tower selection UI.selected tower prefab is equal to null. Well, then I'll also return. So now they're out of the way. So we can now check if event system.current is not equal null and event system.current.is pointer over game object. And if it is, well, then we will also return. And this is when we're hovering over our buttons. We don't want to be able to place our towers when we're clicking on a button. Then we now want our mouse weld position again, so go up here and I'll just take it right there. So copy this down here, and also the cell position right here. So this one right there. And then we can now check if placement map, so not placement map with the exclamation mark, that has tile, the cell position, well, then we will just return. And we'll also do if occupied tiles that contains cell position, well, then we will also return. And now we've checked for everything, so now we can just instantiate our tower selection UI.selected tower prefab, comma, then we need the position, so we'll do ghost instance.transform.position, comma, quaternion.identity. And after that we can set tower selection UI.selected tower prefab back to null, so we have nothing selected after we've placed the tower. And lastly, we can add to our occupied tiles, so we can do add cell position. And oops, I made a small mistake here and here. It's not screen to viewport point, it's screen to world point. And do that down here too, like that. And let's create an empty game object over here, which we're gonna call tower placer, just like our script. Then I'll drag the tower placer script over here, and let's assign these variables. So first we have the placeable tile map right there, and we have the non-placeable one there. And the ghost prefab, let's go to assets and prefabs, and click on the tower placer again, and drag the ghost prefab onto here. And then lastly, we need to click on our buttons over here. So click on the archer first. We need to click on add component and add the selection tower UI, so this one. Then I click plus on the on click and drag this one onto here and do no function. Go to tower selection UI and choose select tower. And now for this one, this is the archer, so I'll drag the archer onto here. Then let's go to the wizard one, and again we'll add the tower selection UI. Click the plus icon and drag this on and choose the right one, so this is the select tower. And let's drag the wizard onto this one. Perfect. Let's now hit play and let's click on our tower. And yep, we can place it, and we can't place it on the road. Perfect. Let's place one. Perfect. Let's try to place a wizard as well. Yep, we can do that too. And if we don't want to place anything, well, we can just click on here again, and now it's not selected. And we can also not place on other towers. Perfect. So I hope you liked this first episode. In the next episode, we're gonna add enemy waves, which go through right here. So see you tomorrow for that episode. And also, since you've stayed for so long, I know you will like my school community, which there will be a link for in the description. In there, you'll be part of a community. You will have a bunch of courses to go through, and you will have direct access to me to ask me any question. So go check that out in the link in the description, and have an amazing day.